Hey guys, welcome to the Nate Whitson podcast. So glad that you're here. Today I want to record for you a message that I think is life-changing. It's one like, I'm always trying to think of like, man, what do I want to do better in my own life? How do I get better? How do I improve? How do I become more of the man that I'm supposed to be? And then simply share with you ideas that I think might help towards that end and come with something that matters. I mean, that's always the goal. I certainly fail at that. It's hard to come each week with that, I'm sure, as most pastors feel, and I'm certainly not a pastor, but the idea of coming each week with something that matters is tricky, right? And some days we get it, some days we don't. But man, I'm telling you, today I think is one of those that I hope I can do it justice. I believe deeply in what I'm going to share with you today, and it's an idea that I think will sound very subtle, and it is very subtle. It seems almost kind of like no big deal, but it's a conversation that I think can literally change everything for you. I think this is a conversation that you won't want to miss if you're trying to be a better husband, a better father, or a better follower of Jesus, or just a better man in general. So stick with me. I hope that that'll be the case for you. One of the things that we constantly are trying to reiterate and share with you here is that this ministry is called Get in the Fight. And I never really intended it to be a ministry. I simply was out of the fight personally. I was, early 40s and just had that wake up moment with the Lord. You've probably heard me share that story here. I won't do it again here, but it was just that moment of like, Nate, you're out of the fight. It was really clear, just a personal message from God that I needed to re-engage, reestablish my life, get back in the fight in every area. And so then ever since that time, I've been in pursuit of change. I've been in pursuit of trying to be a better man and better husband, father, follower of Christ and all that stuff. In pursuing this idea of creating a lifestyle, habits, routines, systems, behaviors that were aligned with what I was saying I believed and what I wanted to do and what I want to accomplish and all of that. Because what I know is that talk is cheap. And what I know is that to get in the fight means you've got to put the gloves on, you've got to, lace up the shoes, whatever it is, whatever analogy or story makes sense, you got to be in it. You've got to be doing the work. It's not enough just to say, like, I love Jesus, in other words. You've got to be engaged in it. And so this podcast is a piece of the ministry that's designed to help each of us as men to become the men that God meant for us to be. And for different principles kind of drive us: honor, discipline, strength, and joy. And so again, if you're on that mission, if that resonates with you, then thank you for listening. Maybe pause here real quick and just, hit that subscribe button. It does make a difference. I know all of us that do podcasts are saying the same things, but it does make a difference. It matters to the guy who hasn't heard it yet, who's looking for content like this. And the more comments, the more subscriptions, notifications that are set, the better we can serve more men. So that does help. And again, hopefully these conversations are meaningful to you. And so I appreciate your support. Again, last part of the commercial side of it is if you go to getinthefight.club, there are tools and resources, free things, all kinds of stuff, books that I've written, newsletters that come out that I just encourage you. A lot of stuff that's just free that you can get there, find out about our fight club, men from around the world that gather together to become better men together. Learn all about that at getinthefight.club. All right. So I'm a University of Michigan fanatic. I love Michigan football in particular. I love basketball. Played basketball in college, football in high school. Football is really my love, but I got a scholarship for basketball, so I took it. Well, football is really my passion, and the University of Michigan's my favorite. So I listen every day actually to the University of Michigan, recruiting and all these kinds of things. I get into it. I'm ridiculous, I'm sure. But Sherrone Moore is the coach at the University of Michigan right now. And he had said something really awesome that I wrote down as soon as I heard it. And I was like, man, that's amazing. And what he said was this: it's about the how, not the what. It's about the how, not the what. That is our focus completely right now. And I love that. And the idea behind that is this: every college team in America has the same exact what in mind. The what is, I want to win the conference. I want to beat my rivals. I want to win the whole thing, right? That is the what. That is the result that everybody is looking for. And what he was saying that I want to say to you today super clearly is that none of that really matters. Everybody has the what in mind. But the only thing that matters in pursuit of those results or goals or whatever it is how you do what you do. If you get the how right, you are much more likely to reach your goals. Now, getting the how right doesn't, in football at least, ensure that you're going to win it all. Even if you were just a great worker and you were diligent, there's other things at play there. But you don't have a chance to even be in that conversation if you exclusively focus on the what. If you're constantly focused on, man, I want to win the game. I want to win the conference. I want to win it all. That's like, it sounds like a good idea, but the reality is, if you're mostly focused there, but you're not paying attention to the details, you will fail at all of it. And I think that's true in life. Many times we are just chasing goals. We're chasing the what. I want to get in better shape. I want to start saving and getting better financially. I want to be more spiritually focused and driven. I want to do, Bible study better, whatever it might be. And those are good things. Wanting to win it all in football is a good thing. Nobody would argue against that. What I'm telling you is that when you focus mostly on the what, you leave frustrated. I just want to lose weight. Let's just talk about that for a second. Let's just say that's the case. Think about losing weight as like an obvious goal. If your focus is, man, I really want to lose weight. Like I'm in pursuit of getting healthier, stronger. I tore my Achilles. Probably many of you know that listening to the show. If you're new to the show, you don't know that. But in May of this year, I tore my Achilles, and so got really sedentary and slow. And so I'm trying to lose some of the weight that I gained probably in that time where I was off completely, and just getting back into the motion of being able to walk a little bit and all of that. But if my focus every day is like, I just want to lose weight, I need to lose weight, I need to get in better shape, and I focus on that, it feels like a good thing, right? Like my focus is on the goal. That's a good thing. And the reality is there's a simple, subtle, like I mentioned in the beginning, a subtle shift that I want you to take. And that is, I want to focus exclusively almost on the how. Because if I can get the how right, then I'm much more likely to get to the what. So for me, like right now, for example, I do these 30-day challenges every single month right now. And I'll say, like for right now, for an example, the last 60 days, I've weighed myself every single day so I can just front and center, I see what it is. And then it helps remind me throughout the day to eat the way I'm supposed to and to do the minimal exercises that I said I would do every single day. And I track it. Did I do what I said I would do or not? I'm focused on how am I going to get to that goal? So I keep it front and center by tracking it. And then I do a minimum of push-ups, sit-ups, and squats every single day. Just body weight stuff, things I can do with this hurt leg and stuff I can do even on my worst day. On some days, I do even more. At least twice a week, I lift weights. But every single day, I weigh myself and I do a minimal amount. And so for me, what's been interesting is in a really like true and practical way, as I've been focusing on how I want to get to my what goal of losing weight and getting in shape, it's been interesting to track it and watch it and see that it actually is working. I'm actually down 20 some pounds from at my highest point pre-injury or at the time of the injury. And that's been really exciting and it's been really cool. And everything started to get better. And really I was getting closer and closer to my what, my result, my goal, whatever it is. The more I started focusing on my daily process. And so with that in mind, I want you to think about why you're here today. And I want you to think about how often maybe your focus isn't on the how, but it's on the what. It's on the end instead of the daily. And there's three things I want to make a point on. The first point is this, that goals just simply aren't enough. Many of us kind of approach change in wanting to be a better husband. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better spiritual leader. Awesome. I hope that you do. But if you are primarily focused on saying that every single day, and you're not focused on what you do, you will end up disappointed. Right? Remember in the beginning, I told you this is life changing, but it's very subtle and it seems like almost like too obvious. But think about how true this is. If you're not a doer and you're just a dreamer, you're going to end up disappointed. Goals aren't enough. Listen to this Proverb 13:4 I wrote down here. The sluggard craves and gets nothing, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. The Proverbs are notorious. Is that the right word? Notorious? Famous? I don't know. Often will do this contrast of the sluggard in this case and the diligent. And so in this contrast, you see that the sluggard is somebody who craves, they really want the what? This is the person who craves the end result. It's like the guy that's like, man, I really want to win the championship. I really want to be a better husband. But he gets nothing. Why? Because he's not a doer. What is a diligent person? What is it that's different between the sluggard and the diligent? It's the doing. The diligent person is a doer. It's somebody who focuses on how they're going to get to their goal. The goal is great, but it's not enough. The habits, the routines, and the disciplines of your life are what will lead you to being fully satisfied, like the writer of the proverb is saying. The diligent are fully satisfied. The doers, the ones that focus on the how, are the ones that are fully satisfied. But the craving for winning, the craving for being better without the how leaves you getting nothing. That is what Proverbs is telling us there. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick break from the show to share with you 3 things that I think could help you to become more of the man that God meant for you to be, a better husband, a better father, and a better follower of Jesus Christ. 3 things, totally free, that I think can help you. Number 1 is our podcast. Hit the subscribe button, share them with a friend. That makes a big difference, not only in your life, but in somebody else that you care about as well. And it helps us to reach more men. Number 2, we do a free weekly newsletter that is short, it's concise, it deals with just one key question and then 3 simple action items each week that will help you to get in the fight in a really practical way. You can find that at getinthefightclub/newsletter. And then lastly, you can join our Fight Club community. This is a free private app for Christian men only, where you can talk to guys and get involved with guys' lives from all around the world who are just like you, trying to get in the fight to be better men for Christ. You get things like daily devos, weekly challenges, monthly gatherings, small groups, so much more. It's kind of like a Facebook group, but exclusively for Christian men, and it's totally awesome, and it's totally free. getinthefightclub/join and check it out. Get more today. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, get our newsletter, get involved in our Fight Club. Totally free things to help you to get in the fight and win today. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Back to the show. So the first point is that goals aren't enough, and it leads really to the second point really easily. The second point is that your system drives your success. James Clear is an expert in this conversation, author of Atomic Habits, an amazing book you should read. And he says this, you've probably heard it before, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Think about this. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You don't just crave wanting to be in better shape and reach that goal because you want to be in better shape. You fall to the level of whatever system you're running. Now, many of us go like, well, I don't have a system. Well, good news for you. That's what I teach people how to do with the Start Super Small system. You can find that at getinthefightclub, and I'll help walk you through that, or you can DM me and let's talk. But the reality is you have a system, and it might just be a lazy one. It might just be that your system is you wake up every day and do nothing. That could literally just be your system. You might just be like the sluggard that craves and says constantly, man, I want to be better. I want to be different, but you do nothing about it. That just might be your system. And James says you fall to that level. You are exactly where you're at today in your marriage, in your relationships with your family, in every other area of your life, your health, spiritual life, all of it. You are exactly where your systems have led you to. And this is why I'm constantly talking about aligning behavior and belief. But behavior doesn't save you. It doesn't earn any brownie points with God. But behavior is the right response to a life that's been changed, who wants to now live life to the fullest. Somebody who is diligent, who wants to be fully satisfied. Christ came that we might have life and have it to the fullest. Why don't we see men living that way? Why don't we ourselves feel full and satisfied? It's because we're falling to the level of our systems, our behaviors, our habits. And so my whole contention is, what if we could teach Christian men how to build better habits? What if we could learn how to break bad ones? We could change our lives for good and become more of the men that God meant for us to be simply by having a better system in place. Now, I understand that sometimes when I talk systems and routines and habits, some people are like, look, some Christians in particular are like, this kind of sounds like self-help or very business driven, or it lacks like the spiritual flavor that they want to hear. But I just want to disagree with that person who pushes against this, saying, oh, this is just like self-help. How you do anything is your system. It's your daily habits. It's your daily routines. It's your daily behaviors. It's the daily things that you do. And just because you haven't thought of it as a system doesn't mean that it isn't one, right? Daniel had a system. Daniel prayed 3 times a day. He knew when and where and how, and that's what he did. And Daniel was a righteous man. Jesus had a system. The Bible says that he would wake up early before the sun rose and go off to isolated places by himself and pray. That was his system. Now, it doesn't call it that. Daniel didn't call it a system, but it was his daily habits. It was his daily routines. It was Jesus' routine. Paul said this. Paul said, keep putting into practice what you've learned. Well, what does that mean? It's the language of systems. It's just that you might not have ever heard it that way or said it that way yourself. My point is, don't let it keep you from thinking about how to build a system that will lead you to becoming the man that God has in mind for you. Are we better off not having systems? Are we better off not having a conversation about improving behavior? No, we ought to. What we ought to, though, do is just make sure that we understand that behavior doesn't save you. Behavior isn't your savior, right? You are saved by grace and mercy and faith in Christ for what he did that you never could. He accomplished what we can't. So we're not trying to learn to do anything to earn favor with God. We are simply trying to respond to that grace by living life to the fullest. And this is what I'm saying is like, I want to change the default way that we live, starting with me, of course. I want to change the way that I live. And whether or not this resonates with you or I can explain this in a way that makes sense for you is to be seen. But I want my daily routines and habits and defaults to change me for the better. I want those things, those systems and things to lead me to the goal of being a better husband. I want my systems and default routines and habits. I want all of that to lead me to being a better man and husband and father and all the things, friend. So when it comes to changing for yourself, when you want to be more of the man that you want to be, your habits, your how, the daily how of your life has led you to where you are today, and it's leading you to where you'll end up tomorrow. And if you don't like where you are today, or you don't like the direction of where tomorrow looks, and you ought to look at it and just say, gosh, if I keep doing what I'm doing or not doing, 5 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever it is, do I like that destination? Do I like where it's leading me? And if not, then what I'm telling you is to do what Sherrone Moore said and focus on the how, not the what. Focus on the how, not the what. The dream of what you want is really probably worthwhile, and it's probably very good, but you'll never get there by simply being a dreamer. It only matters what you're willing to do. Point number 3, focus on being faithful. Focus on being faithful. Hebrews 12:1 says this, let us run with perseverance the race that's marked out for us. Perseverance. How do you persevere? The perseverance is everything. Because again, how many of us in trying to make up for lost time went really big. It's just like, man, I haven't been a very good father. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go big here and I'm going to take my kids on this great trip to Disney or something, whatever. Right. I haven't been very good to my spouse. I haven't been living the way I should with my wife. So I'm going to make it up to her by sending her flowers this week. Cool. Right. Like nice start, nice event. But what really matters is perseverance over the long haul. And here's the thing that I don't want you to miss in this point. Consistency is more important than intensity. Consistency is way more important than intensity. Being faithful, being consistent, and keep showing up over time, that's the mark of a great system. That becomes the mark of a great man. Consistency beats intensity every time, right? You can't win your race, just by staring at the finish line. You don't win your race by just constantly looking ahead, being like, man, I sure wish I could be more like that. The race is won one step at a time, one day at a time. And it's just, you got to keep going. You got to keep going, right? And so goals aren't enough. Your system that you have in place is driving your success or lack of it. And then you need to figure out, how can I just faithfully stay in the fight and finish the race? Just like we talk about in 2 Timothy chapter 4, Paul's like, I have finished my race. I fought the good fight. I have been faithful to the end. This is what we're aiming for. Staying in the fight, remaining faithful. And the way that we do that is by creating systems that change us on a day-to-day basis. That's how you win the race. That's how you finish strong. That's how you remain faithful. And so here's what I want you to think about today as you consider these things, the how, not the what. I want you to think about this. Number one, where are you chasing the what without a clear how? What are your goals today? In other words, what are the things that you want to see happen in your life? What are the things that you're pursuing? Health and fitness, relationship issues, spiritual disciplines. What is it? Maybe it's even simple things like, man, I just want to stop some bad habits like biting my fingernails or, whatever it might be, right? Changing the way I think about something or being a man of joy. What are you chasing that does not have a clear how or system in place? Number two, I want you to think about, what's a small, simple routine or habit or something that you could put in place that has the potential of getting you there. And I want you to think, like, even in your head now, just imagine playing dominoes. If you've ever watched this or seen this, especially some of these videos that show like these, really elaborate dominoes games or whatever that are put up, it's just like, how does that thing happen where all of them fall? There's always a starting one. There's the first domino in line that when you can knock that first one down, it leads to many others falling down in order, and it gets easier and easier and faster and faster. That's the momentum that comes when you get the first domino down. And my suggestion to you is simply figure out, like, what is that one thing that if you got it going would lead to momentum that might lead to the second and then the third goal and then the fourth goal, and this, like, the momentum would spread. How do you build momentum in your life to get you to where you want to go? It's that first one. And so what I would suggest you think about is typically either things like getting into God's word or getting your health in order. For whatever reason, those two starting blocks or starting dominoes tend to lead to this momentum in a man's life where, man, if you start reading God's word and you start to feel connected and more spiritually focused, it leads to going, man, I want to get right in other areas. And the momentum leads to the next one, and it leads to the next one. Same thing goes with physical health. Physical health is really where I started my journey, where I'm like, man, I'm out of the fight and I don't feel right as a man physically. And as soon as I just started focusing on just like walking, basic things like a few push-ups or whatever it was, anything physical, it started to feel good. I started to feel more like me, more like a man again, right? And it's when that happened, it's like, man, I want to get right in other areas too. That's what I'm talking about here. What is the first domino for you? And then I want you to repeat this. I told you at the very beginning, This phrase, this idea sounds really simple. In a lot of ways it is. It sounds very subtle, and it is, but it's life-changing. And here's the phrase I want you to repeat over and over every single day. I want you to say this. It's about the how, not the what. It's about the how, not the what. It's about the how, not the what. The how will lead you where you want to go. The how has led you to where you are today. And if you want to change your life, if you want to get better in any area of your life, you need a system in place, and then you need to be faithful to show up every day. And so that's why I always say, start super small. Let it be so small that you go, well, what are 5 push-ups? What is just reading one paragraph of the Bible going to do? It seems so small. Let the starting point be so small that you can keep showing up every day, because consistency is way more important than intensity. And if you can be faithful to consistently keep showing up, that's a powerful system, and it will lead you to what you're looking for, because it's not about what, it's about how. It's about the how. It's not about the what. And I hope that's helpful for you today. Again, if it is, maybe just consider sharing this with a friend or sharing it on your social media. Let people know about the Nate Whitson podcast. Send somebody to getinthefight.club. If you're a man that's looking for more encouragement, I do a newsletter that comes out Mondays and Thursdays, totally free. You can find that at getinthefight.club. We are in pursuit of becoming better husbands and fathers and followers of Christ, men of honor and discipline, strength and joy. And man, if you are ready or looking for a place to be a part of something like this, man, join us. We would love to have you in our fight club. Again, find out all about that stuff at getinthefight.club. And remember, it's about the how, not the what. Get in the fight. We'll see you soon. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here today and listening to the show. Please be sure to head over to the website at getinthefight.club. And before you go, if you haven't already, please subscribe, click the like button, and leave us a positive 5-star review. It makes a huge difference whenever you do. Have a great day. Go get in the fight.